Welcome back. Today we have kind of a part 2 to these jack stands that are different minimum heights and different max heights. And it actually does go for all the Daytona 3-ton, 6-ton, and the 12-ton. I saw a post on Facebook and they shared the in-store difference, which in my last video on the jack stands, I didn't have the example of the 12 tons, but I figured we'd go over it and do a mini dive into the difference. So here's the 12-ton Daytona heavy duty. Now I know I do read most of the comments, and it is likely, and I think I said it in my last video, they're all likely tested. I mean, they're stamped here with ASME, PASE, engineered to comply with industry safety standards. So they're clearly being tested before they're being manufactured, right? But there is a difference. There is a difference. And we can see it here. For one on the left, maximum height, 30 and 1/20th of an inch. 30 and 1/20th of an inch. That is precision. Maximum height, more normal, minimum height of 19 and 5/8 inch. Compared to 30 and 1/4 inch and of maximum height and a minimum height of 19 and 3/4 inches. Now you're asking me, hey, does that really make a difference? I don't think I'm not qualified to say, but it's unlikely that it makes a difference. But where it does make a difference is in people's OCD. If you're asking me if I'm buying two sets, do I want to buy a set that has a max height of 30 inches, 30 and 1/20th of an inch, and then also a not matching set of 30 and 1/4 inch? Probably not. My OCD would kick in, as it already has, as I've seen with many other people as well. Now maybe you're asking, what's the difference in 1/20th of an inch and 1/4 inch? And I'm sure there's an easier way of doing it, but let's see. 1/20th, so 1 inch times, we might have to go scientific calculator here. So we have 1 inch times 1 divided by 20. You get 0.05 inches. 0.05 inches, which I don't know what that means to me. That doesn't mean anything to me. But that's 0.05 inches compared to 1/4 inch, which I don't need to do the math, is 0.25 inches. So let's subtract away 0.25 inches and you get 0.2 inches. 0.2 inch difference, which is 1/5 of an inch, which again, I don't know what that means. Does 1/5 of an inch make a difference? 1/5 of an inch? Unlikely. And that's for the max heights. And then we can do, this is out of my wheelhouse, but then we can compare 5/8 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 minus 5/8 is equal to the same as 6/8, which is equal to 1/8 of an inch. And the other one was 1/5 of an inch. So this is the max height difference, and this is the minimum height difference. So does 1/8 of an inch and 1/5 of an inch make a difference between the two? Probably not. 1/5 more than the 1/8, of course, but it probably is negligible. Don't quote me on that. But what I also wanted to do is, I feel like Harbor Freight should be updating their website, because as we go through here and look at the specifications, this is what we're basing it off of. And clearly this 1/20th of an inch max height seems a little ridiculous. Maybe it's not. It seems a little ridiculous, 30 and 1/20th of an inch, when the true max height, at least listed, the max height should be 29 and 3/8 of an inch. Neither of them show 29 and 3/8 of an inch. They're actually, at least they exceed it, which is good. So 29 and 3/8 inch is what the website shows, and they're both over that. And then the minimum height shows 19 and 3/4 inch, which this one, without going back into the math, is less than that minimum height. This minimum height is 1/8 of an inch less than what the website says. So I don't know if that's good or bad. And then this one actually is spot on. 19 and 3/4 inch minimum height. And capacity, of course, 12 tons. Product weight, 77.5 pounds, not tested. But I figured I'd share that there is a difference in this one too. So if you got on the 3 tons, 6 tons, 12 tons, it just depends on your level of OCD. If it's high enough, then hopefully, if you bought 2 sets, and hopefully they match. And if not, if your OCD is low, then you're good. But just wanted to bring this up. And then just a reminder, we've gone through this month. I'm sure there'll be another leak. Spring Black Friday sale still going on through tomorrow. And I know this is blurry, and I'll likely post a video about it tomorrow as soon as it's official. But there should be an extension to the Black Friday, Spring Black Friday sale the 15th through the 21st. So if you feel the pressure, maybe don't feel so much pressure, because it seems very likely that they're going to extend it through the week. So just a heads up, no big pressure unless you're worried about things going out of stock. But I'll leave it at that. Hopefully your stores will be getting the new Icon G2 wrenches here by the end of the month. Who's picked up the hat? This thing is pretty sweet. $7, not too bad, new era. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Happy shopping, happy Harbor freighting. Please consider liking and subscribing, and as soon as I find some more deals, I will send them your way.